Now I'm going to move on with marcelling. The first step I utilize, which is my holistic alternative solution to edge controlling, is controlling the edges with a pencil. I silk press the edges instead of hardening or plastering them down to the client's scalp. I straighten them, which controls them. And when I introduce, helps to turn the tools on before you use them. Now I gotta wait till that turns green. But the benefit to straightening the edges versus plastering them with gel or edge control is that straightening them is not going to turn them hard. Using the gels and the edge controls stiffens the hair and makes them hard. And so even if you do use a soft toothbrush, you could be breaking those hairs and thus causing your edges to become thin and suffer hair loss in that area as well. So utilizing the pencil, got the green light, again allows me to control the edges holistically by not adding any product. And with just one pass of this amazing titanium plated flat iron by Red Like Kiss, removes the frizziness from the edges, the crinkly look. That's why we add edge control. So I'm not saying edge control is bad. You may be in love with edge control, but if you're not liking the hardening effect that the edge controls provide once they dry, based on your climate, stayed in there too long, so now it has to rest so it can cool off. And the way I knew that is I could smell it. That's one thing about the Marcel Iron. It does not have a temperature gauge like the plug-ups do. So you have to use other senses like your nose and maybe even your fingers to determine the heat. So I'm just going all the way around the entire perimeter, so I don't just get the front like traditionally with edge control. I do the whole perimeter. Some silk press services tend to omit the edges and they leave them a little poofy. That bothered me when I was a client in the chairs, to leave the salon with the middle of my hair straight, but my edges were always still poofy. So things that bothered me is how I started adjusting and shifting things and creating alternative solutions. And what I started finding over the years is that clients like it too. And clients started agreeing with me that, yeah, our hair does feel better without any conditioner. And yeah, our edges are more controlled without any edge control on them. So we have just found that these alternative solutions are just better. And that's what we're all about in life today, is getting better. I don't know what healthy hair means anymore because everyone swears they have it. And the result we have and that I give is just different. So I have to call it something different because it is not the same. Look at that. Beautiful. But now I'm going to move on to using my Marcel Iron to silk press. I start out by making 2 quadrants instead of 4. Or that's not a quadrant. I make 2 sections instead of 4 because it's just faster and I'm able to address the whole half quicker. Here we go. So I use the rat tail to begin slicing through. I use alligator clips to control the hair. And look down, 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 down. There you go. Good job, good job. I use a technique called raking the root, which is what I'm doing here, which allows me to test the heat of the tool to ensure that it's not too hot before I decide to open and close onto the whole subsection. I have burnt out someone's entire hair in my earlier days because no one really had trained me on these. And that bothered me. I didn't like the fact that I burnt her hair out. And so I realized I needed to practice a little bit more because it's definitely something I love doing so much faster than using the plug-ups, because the plug-ups you gotta go slow and you gotta take really small partings. And that's not the case when using the Marcel Iron. I'm able to address much larger subsections, which only saves time and allows me to get more clients in my days. And it's such an amazing silky result. Look at that. Ooh. I mean, it's really pretty, really quick. Quicker than what you can do with a plug-up. So I'm raking the root, which also straightens that root too, that I tend to can't get with the plug-ups because of the protective plate that surrounds the flat iron. That prevents you from getting to the scalp, which is why they made them as an alternative solution to these, so that individuals could give themselves a salon finish at home. Then over the years, I noticed professionals started using them as well. And I know why, due to the lack of training on the Marcel. They are dangerous and they can be intimidating. I think the plug-ups provided the industry with a alternative solution to straightening hair. But I know some plug-ups have burnt hair before, and I now realize it's not the heat itself. I was using conditioner back then. Now that I do not use conditioner, I do not burn hair, nor do I have the burnt smell protruding from my sweep. Some of the stylists don't understand how bad that smells when you have used conditioner and you've added oil, and now you are pressing or curling all of that into the hair, and the hair was not post-treated with mop water. You're going to have an odor because the hair is not thoroughly clean if we don't post-treat with mop water. You're watching me quickly and easily. Look at that quality on the ends. Oh, so pretty. I mean, it's a flawless finish. I don't know how they do that. Maybe taking my hair. Oh, there it goes. Making the root and then making my first pass I like to do a comb through with my comb and then do another pass beginning in the mid shaft down to the ends, because the ends are where majority of the shorter strands are at and the hard ends are at as well. This is another benefit that I've noticed that gives me, that caters to my timing is compared to the plug ups is, again, the time that it takes to get an entire head done. And don't be laughing at my client. I put everybody to sleep. My environment is very relaxing. I normally have sleep music playing, and it works too. So anybody out there struggling with sleep at night, put some sleep music in your ears, get you an AirPod, and listen to sleep music, which is usually like nature sounds or water sounds. They will put you to sleep. The result is like beef. It's amazing. And then the fact that I'm not having to subject my client's hair to any keratin, any protein. We all know that those are chemical services that alter our pattern. My Water Beauty solution does not alter our pattern. We still get to be versatile with the holistic approach, but amazingly straight when we feel like switching it up. Switching it up is a thing. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Beautiful. And now I'm going to go into the next half. Mind you, it's only been 12 minutes that I did the whole first half of her head. Okay, raking the root, which straightens that area near the scalp. Then you gotta comb through, re-grab, and smooth out all the way down to the ends. And then comb. And go to the next section. Part with your rat tail to save time. Comb through to detangle and control the hairs. Check your heat. And then smooth. And then comb. Beautiful. Make your next subsection with your rat tail. And when you get into larger subsections like this, you part them in half, because the rule of thumb is your subsection should not be wider than the tool, to ensure that you're controlling and addressing all the strands in the subsection. Because if you don't and you make your subsection wider than your tool, you're definitely going to miss strands. And if you miss strands, that's going to mess up your overall result at the end. just working my way up. And the rule of thumb with the Marcel in the stove is to keep a steady and consistent flow of the time that it takes you to part and prep the next subsection. So for me, it's less than 5 minutes, or I'm sorry, 5 seconds. So the Marcel is never resting in the bay long enough to get to the temperature of burning or scorching the hair. That's a very key and essential gem to use in the Marcel Iron. You got to keep the resting of the Marcel consistent to maintain a consistent heat so you don't risk scorching or burning the hair. Raking the root to get the wrinkled part, or to get the root straight as well. And comb it, apply at the mid shaft, and go back through the ends one last time. And then comb. And then last subsection. It just took me an additional 5 more minutes to do this side of her head, and we are almost done. For this client here, she does not prefer to be curled or spiraled or any of that. She likes her hair bone straight. I will too if I had her length. And she is now holistically pressed. That's so pretty. Don't even mess up. And that's what I mean. So you got way less data clean because I did the trimming before the silk question. Oh, that's pretty.
Does your hair seem dry or brittle? Does your scalp itch or get flaky? Is your hair unmanageable? What if there was one solution in one bottle that will restore your dry or brittle hair, remove the flakes or scalp irritation, and increase manageability, plus eliminates the need for chemical treatments, conditioners, or oils? Would you try it? Well, we would like to introduce you to My Water Hair Solution, the total solution for both your hair and skin.
Components that go into that, because if you told me water is going to change it, I wouldn't believe that